with the correct amount.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
I'm going to beat up John Cena.
Oh, it's a great idea.
So who the hell do you think you are?
I was going to dress up like Brutus the Barber Beefcake, cutting and strutting, and then I was going to beat up John Cena. Wonderful. I mean, come on. What's more fun than beating up John Cena?
Suplex City, bitch.
Beat up John Cena!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome once again to the Weekly Suplex. I am Brian Thomas, and this is our 10th episode. Made it past the single digits. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Juice Springsteen. Juice, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well. 10's a big number. Bigger than 9. Less than 11. We're working on it.
We're getting there. 10's better than I hoped for, so...
hey, it's the perfect 10.
There you go. Ty Dillinger would be very happy.
And don't forget, it's on Rusev Day. Wow, what an occasion.
It's a big day in wrestling right now, I'd have to say. We're here to talk all about Extreme Rules, which happens this Sunday only on the WWE Network. Do they do traditional pay-per-view anymore? At least not in the States, right?
I don't know. I feel like I've seen it on the pay-per-view. I'll have to look in my guide, honestly. I could not tell you if it is or not, but I want to say that it's still in some areas in the States.
Interesting.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
They might as well. I mean, there's probably people who don't want to drop a whole $9.95, but will drop $40.
Right? How dare they want to spend 10 and spend 50?
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm curious. I know that they do pay-per-view markets, especially I think in Canada and overseas. They get it for free, I think, in England still. But other places, I think they still have pay-per-view. But I'm not sure if they still have it in the States. I'm guessing they do, at least for WrestleMania, for sure. But
oh, yeah, definitely for WrestleMania. They don't care who buys that as long as someone does,
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is coming up. Big pay-per-view coming, Extreme Rules. This is kind of the lead-in show to SummerSlam, which is the big event of the summer. They've got actually what I think is a pretty darn good card this year. I just hope it goes better than Backlash and is more along the lines of Money in the Bank, only better.
I hope so, too, and I hope so because where's this pay-per-view taking place again, Brian?
This is happening in Pittsburgh, which means that you will be in attendance.
I will be in attendance, you're right. I have not purchased a ticket yet, but I will, and I'm, gotta wait it out, see who's willing to give up a seat for a cheaper price on the secondary market. But I was looking forward. I generally go to if it's a Raw, I'll go. And now because SmackDown's live, I've gone to, I think, every one of those since it's been live. It's in Pittsburgh. And every pay-per-view, I think, I've gone to since 2007's Armageddon. Anytime it's come to Pittsburgh, I've gone. So this is something I was looking forward to in a little bit. But the matches, all of a sudden, make it really exciting now. I was very surprised that they put together such a decent card. There's a couple matches that are really, I think, could take over. We'll get into that later, but I'm looking forward to being there. So see how it goes.
Yeah, it should be an awesome show to witness. I mean, last one I was at was the TLC pay-per-view. I think that's the last one they had here in Minnesota, and that had the whole Roman Reigns comes down with meningitis or whatever the hell he had.
Oh yeah,
and we got awesome stuff that show. We got Kurt Angle taking over for Roman Reigns, which was fantastic. His first WWE match since 2000, I want to say 6. Yeah. And then we also got treated to Finn Balor versus AJ Styles because another one of the headliners was out with the same issue. So it was like, wow, this is. I think it was Bray Wyatt actually.
It was Bray Wyatt
who was out. He was supposed to face Finn Balor. So AJ Styles stepped in. So I mean, what was a decent pay-per-view to begin with became an awesome pay-per-view, and I was like, I am so glad I'm going.
Right there.
Yeah,
that's some good luck there. That was a hell of a show, if I remember correctly. That Finn match was just amazing.
Off the charts. Even the TLC match was fantastic. I mean, to put that together like they did with so little time, because I think Roman was announced the evening before the show,
and
that he would be out.
And they did the little things that like we would do. Like, so they had one day to figure it out, and they put Kurt Angle in, but they didn't just put Kurt Angle in. They put him in the Shield gear. They made it like it was fun. They made it worth it for the crowd live, and you guys loved it. So. It
was fantastic, and the best part was that Kurt Angle was the GM, so he shouldn't even have any right to be out there doing that. But here he was, all decked out in Shield gear, coming out with the Shield entrance, everything. It was fantastic.
That was so hilarious. It was so funny seeing him because he had that smirk on his face that is like, what am I doing here? Why am I wearing this? But I'm ready.
Yeah, he took some great bumps too for a guy who hadn't wrestled in WWE for that long. He went out there and went all out. I think he was trying to prove something, and I think he did. So.
Oh, yeah.
All right, but we're talking about Extreme Rules because this is what's coming up on Sunday. So I have nothing to talk about in regards to Raw and SmackDown. I don't know if you do. Is there anything that you took away from that?
Not really. This is just kind of setting up the big show. I think we've said the last couple of weeks we're just kind of waiting to get to this show, because once you get to this show, it's all some positive stuff going towards SummerSlam with who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, the only thing that I thought was odd was with the announcement that AJ Styles would have Shinsuke Nakamura challenging for the WWE Championship the Tuesday before the pay-per-view, thinking, well, why are we doing this? Because Shinsuke was put into the program for the U.S. title, and now we're going to throw him back in the world title here right before that. It seems counterproductive to the U.S. title. It finished the way it should have finished with a schmoz ending, but I just thought that was kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it was a little bizarre, but again, we're here now, and now we can look forward to the matches.
That is correct, and so let's get into it. I mean, we got some great stuff. There was a match announced earlier today, just added to the pre-show, which I'm sad to say I probably will end up missing due to the fact that I will be at my folks tomorrow, on Sunday before the show, and I'm not sure I'll get back in time because it starts at 5 p.m. now. So I'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping to. But just announce Andreas Cien Almas will take on Sin Cara in the pre-show match number 1. I like Andrade. I think he's a fantastic worker, and especially now since he got the manager, Thay Trinidad. What's she go by now? I'm blanking on her new name. Starts with a V. Anyway, since she's come on and become part of that team with Andrade, he's taken on a whole new level.
Isn't it like Zelina Vega or something?
That's it, Zelina Vega. So, gosh. She's fantastic. I mean, she makes him all that better. And I'm looking forward to this. They had a kind of a match going on SmackDown this week.
Oh, yeah. And they were killing it.
They were. So I'm looking forward to seeing them kind of let them go loose on it's a pre-show match, so it probably will only last like 6 or 7 minutes, but still.
Hey, they got time. They'll make it worthwhile. And they know that people will be watching a little bit more maybe than the SmackDown crowd, because everybody's going to be watching the network regardless. And I think that if they get a little bit more time in their SmackDown performance, it could be even better. So.
Well, I hope they do get some time, but I mean the pre-show is only an hour, and they've got a tables match as well. So,
true, and they're gonna want to give that some time for sure.
Yes, you would think so, because a tables match shouldn't be over in 5 minutes, right?
You would
unless
think,
you want to completely destroy a team.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
Right. So I'm looking forward to both these matches. I think these are probably two of the more solid pre-show matches that they've had in a long time.
That have had some meaning or will definitely deliver in ring for sure. At least give us something that'll perform in the ring, which is why I don't mind the cruiserweights whenever they are on the pre-show, or if they're not on the pre-show, give a match that doesn't have to be anything storyline based, because no one's gonna, in theory, no one's gonna watch this. But if you put on a good in-ring performance, you get a chance to showcase guys that wouldn't normally get that chance. So I like that they're doing that.
I agree, and I'm looking forward to those. I'll probably have to watch them on replay, but I think they should easily be good matches to have on a pre-show. So let's get into everything that's going on here. We'll start with the Women's Championship for the Raw side. In an Extreme Rules match, Alexa Bliss defends her women's title against former champion Nia Jax. The big tag here is that Ronda Rousey, who is suspended from Raw, apparently not from the WWE though, will be sitting ringside because she bought a ticket. What do you think of this one?
I don't know what I think about this. I think that Ronda Rousey will somehow get involved. It is an Extreme Rules match, so I don't see why she wouldn't be in there at some point, even though she's suspended. And I don't know. I think it's going to further the Bliss title reign, leading to Ronda facing her at SummerSlam and capturing the gold. That's what I think is going to happen.
And I am agreeing with you on that for sure. I think Ronda does get involved sometime. I think, she's going to be played up as she can't do anything because she's suspended type deal. But I think Alexa's just going to get in her face and get in her face and get in her face to the point where Ronda does something but accidentally costs maybe Nia the match.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right. And then what would happen is once that goes down, Ronda can go after Alexa all she wants. And it sets up an interesting thing with Nia. Maybe they can do an altercation. I don't know what they have planned. Maybe a triple threat? I don't know. Because if Ronda would cost Nia, you would think that she would get to face Nia at some point. Because that seems more like a legitimate matchup for Ronda than Alexa Bliss.
To me, that would be a big Raw type match. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but are you gonna have Ronda perform on Raw? You're gonna give her that big match?
They got to do it at some point, right?
I wouldn't mind it, yeah. But you don't want to oversaturate her.
True.
I know that that's not oversaturating one match, but you don't want to get comfortable and then start having her on Raw every week because she's a Brock Lesnar.
She's a attraction,
yeah. You gotta have her spaced out. So we'll see, but I'm very curious as to how she gets involved. I do think she'll get involved at some point. She's not going to be out there to not do anything. Like there's a reason she was put out in that specific
absolutely.
spot.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I do definitely think Alexa Bliss walks out still women's champion after this match. I like the idea of a triple threat there because it's not going to be 2-on-1. It's going to be everybody wants a piece of everybody, right? So I can deal with that. So I like it. It should be a fun match. Alexa Bliss is by far my favorite women's performer. She's just phenomenal at all ends. She can work, she can talk, she's got the greatest facial expressions you'll ever see, and can totally sell being kind of a bitchy, pissed off woman. So I like her.
Oh yeah, she's a great character, and she's done a lot in the era of Charlotte Flair, where it's almost as if Charlotte's in the background of some of these in the women's division when you look at it, because Alexa was the first Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, and Money in the Bank, first one cashing in on the same pay-per-view. Like she's making headway.
No, I think Charlotte had to take care of a few things beforehand, so I think that's why. And I think it's good to have her step out for a few to let some of the other girls shine. And you're right, Alexa is one of the shining beacons of the Charlotte Flair era because they pushed Charlotte to the moon, but Alexa also made her path and has really done well.
And again, it's not even just the Charlotte Flair era, the whole Four Horsewomen, all those girls, and yet Alexa Bliss is the one that has clearly been the one that they, give the ball to. Because what are they doing with Sasha and Bayley? They're having them do therapy. It's nothing important. Even if, let's say, it was funny or somehow interesting, it doesn't lead to anything in ring or for their careers going forward. We're not going to remember this as something memorable. And yet Alexa Bliss is going out there and winning ladder matches and costing Ronda Rousey and going to have probably a big match with her. Mm-hmm. I'd much rather be in that spot than be sitting on a couch.
No, I agree with you there. And also a point here is that Nia Jax has really upped her game since that Rousey match. Everything she's done since then has been fantastic. Too. Oh, it was great.
Her and Rousey, because Rousey is, I think I mentioned it, she's the reverse Brock Lesnar. She will sell like crazy at the beginning all throughout the match. Instead of dominating the match, she gets dominated the whole match, and then her comeback is just incredible. Yeah, I love everything she's been. Both matches she's been in has been great, which is why I'm looking forward to, even if it's a triple threat or with just Alexa, I think it'll be a great match.
Yeah, I think so
at
too.
SummerSlam.
I think so too.
She's going to have a match at SummerSlam. She has to.
Well, it's only the biggest pay-per-view of the summer. She has to wrestle there.
That's true.
There's no doubt in my mind she's going to work that show, unless she's got some big commitment lined up that she can't.
Nah.
I just can't see her not being on that show.
Yeah, I mean, it's the second biggest show next to Mania, so you'd think, and it's a very smarky crowd, so Brooklyn would eat that up.
Yeah, I agree. Up next, let's talk about the other side of the coin, the SmackDown Women's Championship match, where we have Carmella versus Asuka. New stipulation added here: Mr. James Ellsworth will be suspended above the ring in a shark cage. These never go well.
They don't go well, but somehow WWE has an abundance of these shark cages. This has got to be the fourth or fifth one in the last 2 years. I'm not sick of it because it's funny, and depending on who the character is, I think it fits great, and for the live audience, it'll be hilarious. But it's just odd, and I'm looking forward to seeing James Ellsworth up there. But I think somehow, some way, Carmella ends up winning this match.
I have no doubt Carmella wins this match. I think that Ellsworth is going to have a few tricks up his sleeve while he's up there in the shark tank. That he will
if he has sleeves.
Well, yeah, that he'll be able to drop some sort of item to Ms. Carmella.
A key or a weapon of some sort, even though it's Extreme Rules, so who really cares if it's cheating, right? So why not go for it?
Well, that's what it should be. Who cares if it's cheating? But not every match is an Extreme Rules match, which to me is kind of silly. But
up until the last couple matches that were announced, the only Extreme Rules match was the Iron Man match, the only match that had a true stipulation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then they the tables match, but it's on the pre-show. So the only Extreme match no one's gonna see. Come on,
right. It was kind of silly, and even looking at the card now, there aren't a whole lot of gimmick matches for a pay-per-view titled this way. The ones we get, which is fine, I guess. I mean, you don't want to have a pay-per-view filled with all gimmick matches. TNA tried that with the Lockdown pay-per-view, having every single match in a cage, and that went abysmal. So we get some good stuff here, and I like that the variety that they've done on this. One tables match, one cage match, one Iron Man match, which is great, one Extreme Rules match, one silly Shark Tank cage match.
Tank. The
whole
tank.
Would be fun, right?
Sharks will be in there. It'll be a whole production. Now, what's interesting to me though is, some of the matches that are not Extreme Rules based, I think would be a great Extreme. They could have anything with Finn Balor, Baron Corbin. I think they could have made a match out of that. I like that they have Kevin Owens and Strowman in a cage. So that's a little bit good, a good dynamic there. But it was interesting that Roman and Bobby Lashley didn't get a gimmick. That was what I was confused with.
Man,
because it's a big grudge feud. They got that's what they're making it seem. So you'd think no DQ, street fight, something. I don't know.
All 3 weeks it's been a feud. Yeah, it's huge.
That's what they want. They're making it seem that way.
They are, and Jay said earlier that he's thinking we're going to see Roman, Bobby, and Brock at SummerSlam, and I just cringed at the thought.
Oh man. Well, yeah, because Bobby takes the pin. And you know what would be great? That makes a lot of sense. You have Bobby Lashley beat Roman somehow at this pay-per-view, and you think that might, affect Roman. But in reality, Roman could win a gauntlet match the next night, and everybody would forget about it. And then Bobby would have a reason to be in the title picture. So then, boom, triple threat. Lesnar doesn't get pinned. Roman gets the title. Everybody's happy.
No.
I don't want it to happen, but I threw logic in there, and I don't know.
Let's go right to it. There is zero way that Roman Reigns is not beating Bobby Lashley at this show. I
clean
don't...
or he couldn't win or he couldn't lose by DQ or something.
No, he's winning. He's just he's gonna win clean.
He's gonna win
match.
Clean.
Yes. This is their answer to why Roman Reigns needs a title shot against Brock Lesnar. Is he beat Bobby Lashley, of all people.
But Bobby Lashley hasn't done anything, thus...
but he's former Impact Heavyweight Champion. Well, you're right, he hasn't done jack.
We watch WWE. I don't know what this Impact TNA wrestling is.
Right. And that's why I don't get why he's being thrust this far into the match. So he was in the President's Corner back in freaking bum freaking 10
Nope.
years ago?
We're not even allowed to say that because the political views are so straight now. They don't even want to acknowledge that he was a part of anything, even though he's in the wing of the Hall of Fame.
There you go. So
they can't even acknowledge that Lashley had a match at WrestleMania 23. He faced nobody. It never happened.
All they can say is that he was in the main event, which, by the way, he was not. That was not the main event.
No, that didn't go on last, but it could be considered one of the main events because they always try to tout multiple main events.
I'm sorry. The main event is the last match.
That's what I know, but that's what they'll tell you. They'll say it's a double main event, triple main event. And to be fair, it did have a lot of star power in it. Austin was there, McMahon, Trump. So, I mean...
Yeah. If they want to have it be a double or triple main event, then have those 3 matches in a row.
They don't. No, that's not what they... I understand, Brian, but they're just not going to do that.
No, I agree. I get it. But, yeah, I just don't understand. Now, that said, this is probably the most interesting Bobby Lashley has been in frickin' ever.
Since that match?
That match I had 0 interest in, I'll tell you right now. And I still wouldn't watch that match. He's actually showing fire, which I didn't know he was even capable of doing when he's ripping on Roman Reigns. It's actually been entertaining. I haven't had to leave.
Maybe when he was in TNA for all those years, he was just watching the programming and going, wow, this guy sucks. I can do something. And he had this fire this whole time.
Maybe, but why didn't he show it there either? I mean,
I don't know.
He's never been one of those guys that I could get behind. I just don't get it.
He was too busy adjusting his headband.
Exactly.
I don't know why it's such a weird look. It's like Vader.
Bald
Vader
head
has
and a headband.
Vader has a mask and he takes it off. Okay. It looks different. Bobby Lashley, the headband's off. It didn't cover any hair, but it's off.
Right.
What are you wearing it for? What are you playing, tennis?
I'm a bald guy. The only time I'm wearing a headband is if I don't have like something to cover my head when I go out and work in the heat. And by work, I mean run. Otherwise, I'll just let the sweat pour. The headband looks weird on a bald guy.
Well, we'll see that he's doing American Ninja Warrior courses, He needs that headband.
Okay.
Whenever he was with Sami Zayn, he needed a headband for that course that he had, and he needed a headband. He's sweating.
I guess. Keep that sweat out of your eyes. It gets there a lot quicker when there's no hair to catch it. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about the United States Championship match. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. An interesting combo. I'm actually thinking this is going to be a possible show stealer here.
I would say this would be my candidate for show stealer match of the night, but we did not talk about the Intercontinental title match yet, so we
That's true.
But I am very... This is 1A for me. This is the second match I'm looking most forward to. In-ring work. The storyline stuff with the other guys, there's a lot of matches I'm interested in, but in-ring work, pure. This match is just, I don't know. I've never seen these guys in the ring other than this past week, but they've never had a one-on-one contest. Mm-hmm. A very interesting mix of styles. I don't know what's going to come out of it. I'm very interested to see how Hardy holds up at age 40 against Nakamura, around the same age, but their styles are so unique, I think, to each other, and I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think Nakamura wins the U.S. title here, though. I think Hardy keeps it because they just kind of gave him this thing. They got the face paint. He's kind of back into the swing of things as a singles competitor. I don't think they're going to take it away from him just yet. Maybe have a bigger match at SummerSlam for him.
I think that's an interesting thought. I actually picked Shinsuke to win this just because as a heel character from Japan to hold the United States Championship would be kind of wild.
And I will only agree with you on that based on the promos where he was like no speak English and stuff like his character would dictate that, even though you wouldn't think about that while looking at him. Like, you wouldn't think, oh, he's this arrogant guy, but he is. That's his character now, and maybe I'll have to change my pick. I don't know.
I'm sticking with Shinsuke here. I think it would be a fun little soiree for him and get him out of the world title picture for now and give him something to do. I think he deserves to have a title in the WWE, and this is a good one for him to have based on the character he's playing and everything else. And let's face it, Jeff Hardy really doesn't need the title. He's over no matter what.
That's true. That is true.
So it won't hurt Jeff Hardy in the least. All right, IC title match. This is the one you're most looking forward to. Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, 30-minute Iron Man match. How about that match with Drew McIntyre on Raw, though?
Firing on all cylinders. I'm very excited for this match. A couple of notes here. So we always complain about how, these guys, if they just gave them the time, they'd have a great match. They are honestly guaranteeing you at least that they will give you the time of 30 minutes with these guys. It'll probably go extra because that's what WWE does, and they got 4 hours to kill. And they're going to give these guys the time. I think this has the chance to be one of the best matches of the night and a show stealer for the year, maybe, as a decent match. I don't know who's going to outperform who here, but I mean the show stealer and Seth Rollins is, my God, he's had great matches all over the place. So I'm looking forward to this, and this is the second pay-per-view Iron Man match in Pittsburgh that I'm going to see live because Randy Orton, John Cena, 60-minute Iron Man match, bragging rights, 2009. I loved it.
Holy crap, that had to suck.
It didn't. No, that it sucked because I was always will be a guy that boos John Cena just for the hell of it. I love his character now. This is just being like the older guy that no one thinks he can do it anymore, and he still goes out there. But at the time, I was 16, I think, and yeah, I loved the match. It was 6-5. I think it went into. It might have gone. No, it didn't go extras, but it was pretty nitty gritty. 6-5 is a long match. 60 minutes. 60
minutes of Randy Orton would just kill me. However, I do like that they did a 6-5. I hate these 1-0, 2-1 Iron Man matches. If you're going to have a stipulation, most falls or whatever in a certain amount of time, let's have falls. Let's see some finishes because that's what makes it entertaining and fun. So that's good. I mean, especially when you're going to go 60 minutes. I don't. 60 minutes is just way too long. I don't care who's wrestling. People can say all they want about Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels 60-minute Iron Man match at WrestleMania 12. I can't stand that match. I hate it.
Yeah, it is. That is. I mean, at the time it was like, what we're going to do with these guys, we're going to give them the time, but they didn't do anything so extraordinary. Hey, you put them in a 30-minute Iron Man match, maybe it turns out a little bit different. I think 30 is a perfect time for it. I think 60 works well in that older 1980s, 1990s type thing when you really got an invested storyline. But if you're going to have a pay-per-view match for an Iron Man match, they've done it in NXT with the women. They're doing it now. 30 minutes is I think, the prime spot, especially
is good. Yeah.
If you go extra, 35 minutes? That's still like a solid time for a big match. Because all decent matches can go 35, and I'm not really bored because these guys are going to tear the house down.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. 30 minutes is the sweet spot. It's long enough to get really into it and have just a phenomenal match, and it is short enough where you're not sitting there going, God, this is taking forever.
Yeah.
60 is just too long. I agree with you on the Hart Michaels match. I think had that been a 30-minute Iron Man match, I probably would have liked it more. It just got down to, while it's a technical masterpiece, technical masterpieces sometimes get really boring. And that's what happened with that match for me. And Bret Hart is my favorite wrestler of all time. Him and Hulk Hogan are my two favorites. Hulk Hogan just because I grew up being a huge fan, and Bret Hart because I just love his work.
I was going to say, what a contrast there.
It is, but you got to remember that when Hulk Hogan was huge, I was 6, 7, 8 years old growing up. That left a huge impression on me.
Well, here, let me ask you this real quick as a sidebar. So, had the match happened at SummerSlam 93, Hogan and Bret Hart, who would you have picked there?
In 93, I probably would have gone with Bret Hart. Because that's when I started becoming a Bret Hart fan.
Well, that's when he was in that stride,
Right. And Hulk Hogan at the time was at the point where he wasn't as big as he used to be. He looked old and ragged out at the time. And
leathery.
Hulk Hogan in the early 90s is not my favorite Hulk Hogan. Not by a long shot. I think I stopped being a huge Hulk Hogan mark as a kid after the Sergeant Slaughter match.
Oh, yeah, that one's really kind of meh.
That was it. When he had his
I mean,
feud
that's
with
when he
Sid
fell off,
and-
too, yeah.
Yeah, he had his feud with Sid Justice. It was not captivating to me. And the fact that they never pulled the trigger on Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan in WWF kind of ruined it for me. At that point, it was just like, okay, well, I'm not going to get the match that I want to see, so I started looking elsewhere, and that's when I found Bret Hart and became a fan of his. And then I kind of went on hiatus of watching wrestling for the longest time and got back into it because of Hulk Hogan when he turned heel. I mean, that was a whole breath of life for Hulk Hogan for me.
Oh, yeah.
And I became a fan again. But by 1992, 93, I was the whole Sergeant Slaughter thing, and then the Warrior, Hogan, Slaughter, Adnan stuff was just, I didn't care for it.
91 was not a great year for WWE.
No, so.
Other than, WrestleMania 7, no one talks about that Slaughter match. They talk about Warrior Savage and what could be one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. That's one of my favorites, for sure.
Yeah, and of course that awesome blindfold match.
Hey, yeah, they have one of the test matches that they did at a house show on a DVD. On the unreleased matches that came out a couple of months ago, which
that'd be kind of cool.
It is, because they tested it out. They had to see how it was going to play with the crowd, and they tested out the spots, and it's great.
For being such a stupid match, the crowd loved it. They ate it up.
Well, that was the perfect time. That was the perfect time to do it. That nostalgic 1980s, 1990s fans love that stuff.
Well, and just the fact
it's
that
not
he's
every
pointing...
month. It's not like they have a blindfold pay-per-view.
No,
you see it once every now and again.
Right. They're not terrible. You're not going into that match thinking you're going to watch this just masterpiece of a match. You're going in there for the fun, just let it down and enjoy it.
Yeah, and that was, a time where they really took care of storylines because they didn't have a live show every week. They had a show every Saturday that was taped, and the storylines were all these pre-taped segments, and they really masterfully and carefully made the storylines mean something back then. So those matches, as weird and funny and odd as they were, they made sense and they were fun for the fans. So.
For sure. All right, let's get back to our pay-per-view, though. You're picking who in this Iron Man match?
Oh, boy. Man. I want to say Dolph Ziggler retains. And I don't want to... I'm stealing this from my my work partner, Justin LeBar, who mentioned this on his podcast earlier this week. That he mentioned this if the match were to be the main event, the only way that it could be the main event, because we don't really know what the last match will be of this show. I hope it's not Roman and Bobby, because nothing's on the line, so it means nothing. And it's not like Lesnar's going to come out and do anything, so why the hell would that be the last match? If this match comes down to Drew McIntyre will be outside for Dolph, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, wouldn't someone have to even up the score for Seth? And who would that be?
Well, it can't be Dean, because he's still out.
Is he still out? Is he cleared?
I don't think so. I don't think he's... Well...
And if he
let's
is...
think about that, because
if he is, why
July
couldn't
is the time frame, right?
Yeah, why couldn't he come back and you think he's going to help him out, and then he turns on him? I think that that could be something they could set up for SummerSlam. Seth Rollins is not going for the Universal title at SummerSlam, so what is he going to do?
Interesting.
I think you got a blood feud right there, and Dean as a heel is something we've wanted since 2012. I think it's something that you could factor in. So I'm riding the coattails of my other podcast guy, but hey, I think it's a good idea, and I go with it. I think it'd be interesting.
I like it. I mean, if he's cleared to go and ready to return, I'm all for that. I think that would be an excellent way to keep the title on Dolph and move Seth into something else. I chose Dolph Ziggler only because of Drew McIntyre being there. And,
that's what I'm saying. I think that'll cause... Either it's going to cause it that way, or Dean, either way, if he comes out or not, I think McIntyre's the catalyst here. And maybe you get a Ziggler and McIntyre thing if he turns on him.
Not yet. It's too early for that. You got to keep that going for a while and maybe have that play out later. But, yeah, I think so. Wins. Yep. Let's go into the Raw Tag Team Championship match. You got the Destroyers of Worlds, Eaters of Worlds. What are they calling themselves now? I can't even remember.
Isn't it the Deleters?
Deleters of Worlds. Okay.
Sure,
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, Matt and Bray taking on, oh, look at that, Brother Bo and Curtis Axel over on the other side. The B Team, who's actually become quite entertaining.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. You have nothing for us? Okay, we'll be very popular and somehow successful. And then
they've always been popular, though. Even the Bo Leaf stuff was over,
Oh, yeah,
right?
it was over. It was.
Curtis Axel always gets a pop when he comes out, and he just never got a push. It's nice.
Well, he's still in the Royal Rumble, so.
Longest entrant ever.
I love that his character is just taking any opportunity, and he's doing everything he can with it. He had such a tough, shoes to fill. Your dad is like one of the greatest in-ring performers of all time, and to try to fill those shoes is really impossible. So he had to almost carve his own niche, and if it didn't work in a certain way, as Curtis Axel, the guy who's managed by Paul Heyman or whatnot, this is something that he can do, and he's having fun. He's getting paid, and he's on TV, and now it's very successful, I think, at this point. So I'm liking that they're doing this, and I love the fact that Bo gets to face off with Bray. It's so funny. They're gonna love it. They love it when they're in the ring together, and he's wearing the beard, and God, that's got to be so much fun for them.
The best has been the promos that he's cut as his brother, because his voice is so similar. He's able to sound exactly like his brother, and he uses the inflections. It's fantastic. So I really hope that they let the B team win here. I doubt it, though. I have to pick Matt and Bray winning this match.
Yeah, I agree. Although I wouldn't be shocked if they had a quick, somehow, just a win and get the titles, but lost them maybe the next night of the rematch. And I don't know what happens at SummerSlam. All these predictions really are, what do these guys have to do at SummerSlam? And I don't think the B team would have anything unless they do a multi-team match, which, they do at every pay-per-view, it seems like they have.
You got 5 hours for Survivor Series, man.
Oh God, no! But they have all these hours to fill now. 4 hours for these shows, 5 for the big 4.
Yeah,
you gotta get your guys on the card.
Right,
so.
We're gonna have a 5-hour SummerSlam, aren't we? Holy crap!
I think so.
So that means they're gonna start that. Are they gonna start that at 6 still and go to 11? Or sorry, in your time would be 7 to midnight, or are they gonna start it at 6 and 5? Oh,
I don't know.
God. I tell you, it's hard to watch these now because, it's getting too early. All right, let's move on to the SmackDown side of the tag titles. We got the Bludgeon Brothers taking on the reformed team of Team Hell No. I'm going with the Bludgeon Brothers here. I just don't think they're going to give the titles to Team Hell No off the bat. I don't know.
I don't think they will either, but I don't know. I wrote about this in the Pittsburgh City paper. I wrote an article about Daniel Bryan coming back to Pittsburgh for the first time since becoming back as a full-time wrestler. And he's got a very close connection with Pittsburgh, with the Connor stuff, Connor being from Pittsburgh, and all that stuff happened here. So it's a very emotional place for him to come back to, and I think it's fitting that Team Hell No is coming back, because whenever that first visit with Connor happened, Kane showed up, and again, a lot of memories for him. I don't know if they'll necessarily win here. Maybe there's a schmoz finish or a DQ, something that doesn't get them the titles, but maybe a win. Because I think, again, it'll be a feel-good moment that they're even there. But I don't see them winning the titles. So.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to him coming back. That'll be very exciting.
Yeah, and I hope that they give him something, because they've had the Bludgeon Brothers kind of run over everyone. So I hope that they give him at least a little bit here and make it. With Kane there, they should be able to make it a fun match.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I forgot about this, but I guess I really didn't forget. But I know Kane has the mayoral stuff, and he's going to be going and running for it. But he can win the title and lose it as quickly as whatever. So it's not like if he wins the titles on Sunday, he has to hold them forever. So,
right.
You can have a title change and it not be
the election's not until November, and so he's got all the way through Survivor Series to drop the belts if they win them.
So I don't think it's too far-fetched. Now I'm going to make the pick. I think, especially you said Bludgeon Brothers have been running over people. I'm going to give Team Hell No the win here, and it's going to be a big emotional moment. I think they'll hold the titles maybe SummerSlam. Hey, another multi-team match. So who knows? Then they wouldn't have to really get pinned necessarily. So.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, so let's see. We'll have to wait and see. Up next, Finn Balor versus Constable Baron Corbin. I gotta say, Baron Corbin is one of those guys I really have wanted to like for a long time, but I just thought his look was terrible, and he just never really got over with me. I like the Constable gimmick, though. I think that actually works well in his favor.
Okay, so the gimmick's like, okay. I like that he's in there with the upper guys now, like the management, if you will. And I like this purely because you know what this does for his character going forward whenever he gets out of this constable role? He knows how to be on the mic now. He's going every week, doing stuff on the mic, getting these voice roles, and he's going to improve his skills on the mic for whenever he goes back as a normal competitor, not just a constable.
Yeah.
So I like that for him.
I
gives
do
him a
too.
little test, and he's on TV, so.
I do too,
People won't forget.
and thank God the haircut's there because it makes him look much younger.
Does it make you feel better?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you like looking at the skullet?
I don't know. I think
it made him look like he was way too old for what he is.
I just love his theme music, regardless. His theme music is one of the most consistently great things. I love it.
All right. Well, there you go. Theme music wins. All right. Up next, the cage match, Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. Owens has tried not to get in Braun's way, tried to be friends with him, all sorts of things, and all of it has backfired over and over and over again. And finally, Kurt Angle just decided, hey, you can't keep running away from Braun Strowman, so let's put you in a cage and see what happens then. I am so excited for this match, and my hope is that Kevin Owens wins this somehow by getting out of that cage, or maybe Braun throwing him through the damn cage. Who knows? But I would love to see Kevin Owens win here, so that all we get is Kevin Owens talking about how he beat Braun Strowman.
Hey, great minds think alike. So I really think that Braun should win. Like, there's no reason he should just lose. He's got a lot going for him. He's got the Money in the Bank. But I think what's going to happen, and I think actually in reality is the better option, is for him to launch Kevin Owens through the cage. It's a great way that he can win the match without, winning the match. He just kind of lucks into it. And again, perfect. He can tout how he beat Braun Strowman in a cage. And then you can even throw in, hey, I beat the guy who's the Money in the Bank carrier. And he can even just try to politic his way to better matches just because he did that. So
there you go.
I like that. I'll take Kevin Owens as the underdog here.
All right. Last and certainly not least, I hope this is the final match of the night because it deserves to be. AJ Styles defends the WWE title against Rusev on Rusev Day.
Wow.
This is great. I've been waiting. They should be pushing Rusev a lot more. I think they're finally listening to the fans. I hope it's not a one-time thing. I mean, he doesn't need to be challenging for the world title every time, but at least get him involved in these big stories. And this is great. I think AJ retains here. I have no reason to see them putting the belt on Rusev, but I'm going to enjoy every minute of this.
I will too. Yeah, AJ's definitely going over here. I don't think Rusev needs a championship. Once again, just like Jeff Hardy, he's a guy that's going to be over regardless. His Rusev Day thing is taken over. With that being said, even though it is on Rusev Day, I don't see Rusev winning, unfortunately. But, hey, this is a great spotlight for him. I think he's going to take this chance, run with it, hopefully be successful in just having a great match. But, I mean, hey, it's AJ Styles. He's going to have probably a great match with him. He can have a great match with a broom for all I know.
Exactly.
So I'm looking forward to it. I think AJ makes Rusev look even better than his character gives him, and AJ wins. But it'll be a fun match, and good for Rusev getting this opportunity.
I'm with you. I really hope that they let Rusev go here and show that he is a great worker, regardless of what anyone says. And AJ deserves to keep that belt. I think they're going to have it on him at least, I think, through Survivor Series before they make him drop it. But I'm hoping till next WrestleMania at least. We'll have to wait and see. So that's your Extreme Rules card. I think we hit every match. And so if you have comments or want to mention anything to us about it, you can hit us up on the Twitter. I am at BrianThomas878. He is at Juicy Steen. Or you can find us on Facebook. Just search for the Weekly Suplex Podcast, and you'll find us on Facebook there. And you can interact with us there. So that's always exciting. Any final thoughts?
All of a sudden, I'm looking forward to this pay-per-view a lot more than when it initially got announced. I knew it was going to be Extreme Rules, and I didn't know the matches, but aside from that Lashley-Reigns match, which I'm looking forward to anyway, because a Roman Reigns match, you're going to have that rabid crowd, and I'm sure Pittsburgh will eat it up. I'm looking forward to that Iron Man match, and I think overall, I think it'll be a solid pay-per-view if they perform halfway as good as I think they will. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that's awesome. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you get in live, and we'll see you all next week. Thanks for listening to the Weekly Suplex.
exhausting being so talented.
I'm not finished with you!
You are not even worth my time.